what's your view on how stress and emotions influence fascia and breathing patterns, and what impact can that have on pain?
Well, anytime we're in a stress response, we're not going to be healing from pain. And so the fascia, it's so funny because some people are so obsessed with the emotional component, and I'm a little avoidant, to be honestly, because when you read like a Barnes book, like his theory on it, the electrical body and the emotional body doesn't even exist within, how much is our electromagnetic field holding some of the cymatic studies that are happening, and people are getting out of pain instantaneously because of a tuning fork, kind of pulling them back into balance. I'm not privy to say fascia is responsible or even potentially the container, but it is part of the responsive mechanism. So like if we were to sit here and close our eyes and think about someone that we hate and like the last conversation that we had with them, and like hate's a strong word. So just think of like, the person in your life that when you get an email from them, your stomach kind of drops a little bit and you kind of feel a certain way. That's not our muscles reacting. That's our brain reacting to some sort of, input, and then our fascia responding. And the fascia has 6 times as many nerves as our muscles. So even after like a hard workout day, when we're like, oh, our muscles are sore, are you sore? Or are the muscles inflamed and swollen? And you're feeling that pressure on the fascia around it because that fascia is now like tight and constricted. So, even our facial expressions, like when if somebody were to take apart the cheek, right, and you look at certain muscles of the cheek, the way that our cheek and our, face muscles grow, there's 44 muscles in the face, they're invaginated within the fascia. So like as we grow, like let's just say this is the fascia field. I'm looking for my other thing. The reason, like how we grow together is it's like, we sprinkle some liver cells here, we sprinkle some brain cells here, and then the fascia will encapsulate that or invaginate it, and then it'll grow inside of that pocket. Well, some of our face muscles have like 11 invaginations. So when we make expression, are we moving our muscles, or is the fascia responding to all of these little infinite things that are happening within the brain that we see as universal expression? So even like us smiling, us frowning, us, being concerned, us being surprised. How is it that all of us are nerved the same way to move our faces the same way? Is it muscles, or is it, fascia is the container in which we get to self-express. Muscles are like the battery packs that we build for whatever actions we keep going over and over. So like swimmers have a totally different musculature than sprinters. So the muscles are kind of like trained to be these batteries, but the fascia is this emotional component. It's the energetic component. It's the thing, holding the muscles into place for a contraction. So yes, it does hold emotional stuff. And when people go through my program, they may have memories surface. And what I always tell them is you have all of the tools that you need. And I really look at the emotional component of the fascia just like Cheeto dust. Like after you're done eating a bag of Cheetos and you have the dust all over your fingers, life leaves you with a little bit of Cheeto dust. And until you go back and wash that Cheeto dust out, there may be some residual feelings, there may be some residual flavors. And it's because we don't brush our fascia. It's just the simplicity of like, I think the body is this magnificent structure that, can store uncomfortable feelings. But when we have a practice that helps us release those feelings, particularly in conjunction with like slow, powerful breath, we have everything we need to get it up and out. But there is another component in the electromagnetic body that I think is still not mainstream to talk about. But, if you are in a weak, sad place, your electromagnetic body is pretty tight to your body and you're a little more influenceable, and like you can kind of feel people's presence maybe a little like overwhelming or overstimulating, versus when you're in a strong, mighty space, your biofield is huge and you feel more comfortable, you feel more confident, you are a little bit louder. I kind of, there's an emotional component also to that. And I think they're all a little bit intertwined, you know, how the CSF fluid is moving, how our fascia tension is. I think that influences how big our biofield is or how tight it is. That is always in a state of flux. Um, so I don't want to say like fascia is the main key and holder of all emotional energy, because I do think the electromagnetic is part of it. But if we want to feel free, open, balanced, and fluid and symmetrical in our body, fascia, I believe, is holding the key to that.
Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.